human nature. Well, that may be true, but over time, the point is, the usage of this lane, this farm lane, it just kept eroding and eroding and eroding. I own a farm not too far from here, just south of Burnside Bridge. I've got a sunken road on my farm, very similar to this. It's not unusual to see these, not unusual at all in this area. And it just happened, in my case, that was the way the farmers went out into their fields, and they would always use the same route. So over time, it just erodes and kind of sinks down into the soil. I even found this kind of fence, historic fencing along Sunken Road on my farm. Historic fencing that's probably been there for at least 75, 80, 90 years prior to when I bought it, still there. Not in good shape, but still there. And so the neat thing about this, as far as defense is concerned, is that you can, it's almost like a fortification. It's almost like an entrenchment, as if you've actually built something to protect yourself. You can stand up in here and defend yourself. Everywhere else we've been on the field, if you stand up, the enemy is standing up too. You've got nothing in front of you to defend you. You have seen nothing anywhere that you can really hide behind, that you can call a defensive position. They did not entrench you. Neither side entrenched. And so this is the most natural form of entrenchment you'll find on the battlefield. Now, there's a couple of advantages. One, you can stand and fight from a defensive position. Two, the enemy typically can't see you. You're so far down into the ground here, you can't be seen. They can't see you. They don't know what your strength is. They don't know what your position is. They don't know what your alignment is. They don't know how many you have. They can't see any of that. So that's an advantage. The disadvantage is you can't see them either. So really you have both sides blind in many respects. Now, of course, the Confederates here are going to be occupying this position. And that in itself is weird, because the main Confederate line has been to your left, to your rear, to the west, on much higher ground. Think of it this way. Remember now, General Lee was principally facing this direction, like this, towards the enemy at the beginning of the battle. And then all of a sudden, stretching out from this, you've got this line that runs perpendicular to it, like this. It just kind of stands out. It's really quite peculiar, but really it's not. If you think about it, Lee was aware that he was principally going to be attacked from the north. He knew that. He was expecting that. This is his second line. As the attacks were coming from the north, this is his backup line. This is his second position. He's trying to stop any advances coming from the north. So that explains why you've got this perpendicular line running kind of east-west rather than north-south. It's because Lee was expecting attacks to come from the north on the morning of the 17th. This is his secondary position, secondary line. Well, sure enough, it will be attacked. But the Federals are not coming from the north. They are coming from across the Antietam Creek, this direction. They're coming from the east. These were the reinforcements that McClellan sent in. They were supposed to be going this way. When they advanced, they were directed toward the West Woods and towards the Dunker Church. They're coming like this. They're advancing in this direction. But as they're moving, they discovered that the Federal flank up on the hill where we were at the visitor center is what they call in the air. That means there's nobody supporting that flank. There's nobody out here that's on your side. It's completely exposed. We talked about those exposed flanks. And so instead of going straight ahead towards the Dunker Church, this group, General French, coming across the Antietam Creek, he will veer and come in like this to extend your flank. Now, the Federal forces here, he's coming in to extend that line, and he runs into you here in this lane. The Confederates here, we got North Carolina boys here, Alabama boys there. About 2,000 of them. These are good, hard, veteran fighters. And they're ready. They know you're coming. They can't see you, but they've got scouts out in advance. They've got skirmishers out in advance. They're getting reports. They know you're coming. They know their direction. Archie, I need your help again. All right, tallest man right here. Tallest man in the regiment. Turn around. There we go. Now, we'll give this man the honor of being in the center of the line. Remember we did the linear? The tallest man in the line is going to be the center of the line, is going to be the flag bearer, the color bearer. Because during the Civil War, one of your principal means of communication is visual on the flag, visual on the flag. You've got to be able to see the flag.
you go where the flag goes. You can't hear orders very well, if at all. Even if a drum's beating, probably can't hear it very well. You heard that cannon go off. You can hear the crack of that musketry. So you have to depend on visual. What can you see? So the color bearer is the key. Always the tallest man with the flag, state flag, U.S. colors in the middle. And then typically you'd have part of the regiment one way, part of the regiment the other, and they're coming in lines here, 2 lines, advancing like a wave, 2 lines, like we were lined up earlier today. Well, of course, if you want to create chaos,